Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining IBTTA's Global Road Safety Week 2024. I'm Pat Jones. My guest today is Justina Wentling. Justina is Manager of Traffic Engineering and a past co-chair of the Pennsylvania Turnpike Commission's Innovation Council. Currently, she serves as chair of the PTC Subcommittee on Work Zone Safety and is a board member of the American Traffic Safety Services Association's Pennsylvania chapter. Justina is one of the leaders in having developed the new driver work zone safety course. Justina, it's great to have you with us. Thank you for speaking with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, Justina, let's start at the beginning. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and your career journey at the Pennsylvania Turnpike Commission.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, I am currently the manager of traffic engineering, which is in our traffic engineering operations department at the Pennsylvania Turnpike. I've been at the Turnpike since 2011. I started out as a project manager in the traffic engineering unit at the Turnpike. I am currently serve as the chair to the subcommittee on work zone safety at the Turnpike, or we call it the SALS committee. I'm a board member for the Pennsylvania ATSA chapter, and I'm a past co-chair of the Innovation Council. I was the co-chair from that on from 2022 to 2023. We served 2-year terms. So in at the Turnpike in the traffic engineering unit, the responsibilities under our unit include the management of the subcommittee on work zone safety. Pretty much anything with work zones falls under our unit. We manage the maintenance and protection of traffic standards and specifications, the work zone speed safety camera program, traffic capacity and revenue studies, our durable pavement marking program, various signing projects, and crash data reviews.
All right, that's great. Thanks for the background. So this Global Road Safety Week, we are focused on three major contributors to highway crashes and fatalities: distracted driving, speeding, and impaired driving, all of which are magnified when drivers navigate complex work zones. Tell us a little bit more about the new driver awareness program, how it came about, and how it is helping create safer work zones.
As we talked about the subcommittee on work zone safety, we developed that in early 2015 to bring several different groups at the Turnpike together to work toward a common goal of reducing crashes in work zones. It was a direct result of two Turnpike maintenance employees being killed in work zone crashes. So the group was created, and it's made up of representatives from various groups within the commission, including construction, maintenance, traffic engineering operations, our communications and engineering groups. And then we also have some outside representatives, including state police, the PennDOT, FHWA, and then our general consulting engineer, Michael Baker. So we currently meet monthly. In those meetings, we discuss crash trends, and then we also have a focus topic every month. We're always looking at ways to drive down work zone crashes. And as the group was meeting, we discussed the need for additional education needed for new drivers and work zones. The current PA driver's manual only had about 3 pages that contained information related to work zones. And
Mm.
when you take the test, you can even skip some questions, and you do have the ability to get some wrong. So there is a possibility that a permanent applicant would have not to answer. They wouldn't have to answer any questions related to work zones, or if they would, they wouldn't have to get them correct. So we were aware of a teen driver work zone safety training. It's Work Zone Safe, that was being promoted by ATSA, and it was developed in Oklahoma. They created an Oklahoma course, and then there's also a national course as well. So we met with the founder of Work Zone Safe to learn more about their program, the incentives, partnerships, how they tracked, who took their course, and all the incentives. And we decided to move forward in developing a Pennsylvania specific training in cooperation with PennDOT.
Hmm.
So we had last summer in 2023, we had a group of interns work on developing a playbook for our new driver work zone training program. And we've been working since then with our general consulting engineer, Michael Baker, on the development of the course. So a draft course has been developed, and we're looking to launch the course officially this fall. So it's not currently out there yet, but we are looking to, once we do launch the course, we're looking to promote it initially through incentives like scholarships and insurance discounts, similar to what to what Oklahoma did at the start of their program. And then our ultimate goal would be to require the course to obtain a driver's license in Pennsylvania. But we would like to gather data once our course is launched first before we would pursue that legislation. So once we launch the course, our hope is that through this training, we're able to educate new drivers on work zone laws in Pennsylvania, different devices, different characteristics, like a lane shift, a flagger situation. But most importantly, we would like to educate them on the importance of slowing down and eliminating distractions while driving through work zones.
Justina, you said earlier that it's possible to get your driver's license in Pennsylvania without having answered any questions about driving in work zones, that you can get a certain number of questions wrong, and there might be a couple of work zone questions and you might not answer any of them correctly. Is that right?
That's correct.
It also sounds like you don't have any need for a quote unquote safety moment at any of your meetings because they're really devoted to safety. You know, every time you get together with your colleagues at sister agencies, you are focusing on safety issues.
Absolutely. I mean, and not just at the meetings. I feel like, even just throughout the month, in between our meetings, there's so many discussions that come up through the sales committee, or, things come through us through, construction or maintenance. And we're constantly working to improve work zone safety at the Turnpike.
Now, I understand the fatal crash rate for drivers between ages 16 and 19 is something like 3 times that for drivers who are over age 20. How can we as an industry be more effective in reaching young drivers to improve this trend?
I mean, I think first and foremost, I think it's education, just like what we're developing. I think we need more content out there to be able to, not have drivers for the first time, seeing a sign, a device, a situation while they're driving out on the road. I know I would, if I was having my, younger daughter, drive through a work zone, I would hope that she would see something, in a training before she would actually have to do that while she's in a car.
Right.
So I think that this education piece is the first part. Again, I think another thing that we're talking about doing is like a phase two would be more of a hands-on training where we actually get in the schools through the help of our highway safety office. So I think that's another, important aspect of this is to really, talk to these individuals and, not just have, a piece of training that's online, but actually have them meet with, whether, they're construction workers or family members that have been, impacted by a work zone crash, or a construction worker that has been impacted by a work zone crash, or even a teen that drove through and, was in an accident and maybe impacted the life of a construction worker. So I think it's really just that education piece is, I think, at the forefront of where we need to start.
Right, right, exactly. Justina, the Pennsylvania Turnpike has been a trailblazer in other safety campaigns like the Go Orange campaign, which I understand has reduced work zone crashes by 30% over the last several years. That's really game changing. What do you see as contributing to the success of that campaign?
Again, I don't think it's just the campaign alone. I think it's the work that the subcommittee on work zone safety, has done. It's really been a bunch of tools in our toolbox that we have
Hmm.
implemented It's not just one initiative or piece of technology or safety device, or even education or outreach piece, but we've done a lot of little things that have added up to help reduce, those crashes. So again, I think this new driver program is just another tool to add to our toolbox, to help drive those numbers down.
I like the idea of the toolbox and having multiple tools. One of our expressions for our global road safety campaign is that the little things add up. Use your turn signals, slow down when you're in a work zone. Let people in when you're merging, ditch the cell phone. All those little things really add up to people being safer around work zones.
Absolutely.
Justina, the Pennsylvania Turnpike, more than 80 years old now, and America's first superhighway. How does the 80 plus year legacy of the Turnpike influence its approach to safety?
So I think it takes me back to our, my innovation council, co-chair days. We are really proud of our culture of innovation at the Turnpike, and we're always trying to be at the forefront of the transportation industry in regard to safety, among other areas as well. But we really pride ourselves on safety and leading the industry in that area. So we're always looking at new ways to improve safety and and just be that leader and help share some of our knowledge with other industries on how we can get better as a nation as a whole, not just work in a silo by ourselves.
Right, right. Justina, you're a mother, you have children. What are your conversations with your kids like having to do with highway safety and having empathy and respect for other people on the road?
Yeah, so it's interesting. My husband actually works for the Turnpike as well, as an electrician, and is out on the road. So it's really easy for me to talk about, that hey, your dad is out, on the road working in these work zones at times. So you know, you need to be able to slow down and pay attention. And I actually went into my daughter's school a few years ago. They had it was one of those presentations that brought your parent in for the occupation day. And I went in and I took in a big layout of an aerial image of the Turnpike, and then I had these little signs. And what we do for our tabletop exercises, we had we set up a work zone and had matchbox cars. And and we started there, but then I also talked to them about, I had the Go Orange campaign, and
Right.
I had, different, different things that we gave out, like fans and bracelets. And so I tell them, the importance of slowing down and paying attention while you're driving, not only in
Right.
work zones, but anywhere, because you can quickly come up on a work zone, and you might not see the signs if you're looking at your phone. So I have heard my kids talk numerous times. If I would ever look down on my phone, even if it's sitting at a stoplight, my kids will tell me, "Drive orange, mom."
Drive orange.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's important for all of us to really be that example to our children, so that the generations that are going to be on our road, soon, I think we need to lead by example, so they know how they should be driving when they get to that point as well.
Justina, the approach that you and the Pennsylvania Turnpike Commission are taking to roadway safety and educating new drivers seems very interdisciplinary. You've talked about several other organizations, the PennDOT, American Traffic Safety Services Association, FHWA, and others. I mean, that's a lot and I've only mentioned some of the organizations. That's a lot of organizations to get them to work together. To what do you attribute the success of that, of getting those organizations to come together?
I think we all have the common goal of that we want to improve work zone safety, and ultimately we see this as saving lives. And I think, just from my perspective of all the things that I have done and probably will do at the Turnpike, I see working on this project and this program as being something that it will be probably the thing that will leave, the, most impact, and legacy, and will impact the most lives of anything that we've done at the Turnpike. It will touch many, many people beyond that even drive on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. And I hope it is something that can go to other states and agencies that they will take on. I mean, when it is launched, it is not going to be limited to just Pennsylvania drivers. So I would hope, we started, looking at Oklahoma's program and their national program. And as soon as we found out about their program, we started, promoting just to the people we know, hey, there's a national program that anyone can take. Go take it. Ultimately, we would love for that to be our program as well. Looking at the draft course, I definitely think it's something that's geared to really speak and engage those, new drivers and really have that impact of saving lives.
Justina, I've been talking with other leaders in the tolling industry and in other facets of the transportation industry about things that work in getting people to respond to messages about safety. And certainly technology is one of the tools in the toolbox for helping people. But I like to think about the technology that gets people in between their own ears, that gets to the very nature of their attitudes and behaviors on the highway, getting them to think with empathy and respect. We get out there on the highway in our cars and we're surrounded by 2 tons of metal and we feel like we're alone, but we're really never alone. We're all part of a common humanity, and every decision that anybody makes behind the wheel affects the safety of everybody else on the highway. How do you help drive home that message of the connectedness of everybody in the roadway system?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest piece, I think too, is the empathy part, and knowing that the people that are out on our roads, working with the boots on the ground, like they're real people. They're parents. They're a son, daughter, brother, sister, uncle, and everybody deserves to go home at the end of the day.
Right.
And I do think, you know, just showing that there's real people out there, and that it can be your family member or friend out there. We all have the responsibility to drive safely through work zones, to make sure that they get home. And that's, again, that's their office. That they deserve to get home from their office just as much as any of us working in a safe environment.
I remember a number of years ago when Mary Peters was Secretary of Transportation, or maybe it was when she was Federal Highway Administrator. There was a special safety campaign really emphasizing work zones, and her department actually put her desk out there on the highway with orange cones surrounding it, so that people could get the idea that this really is somebody's workplace, right? What do you think of ideas like that and other ways to sort of perk people's attention up,
Yeah, so one of the things that comes to mind is we actually developed a virtual reality module
right?
at the Turnpike, and it is basically what you're doing is you're on a sign truck, a Turnpike sign truck, and I think it's on a 2-lane section. You're setting out cones, and it
Right.
has trucks and cars buzzing within feet of your head as you lean out over the truck to put the cones out. It has
Wow.
sound associated with it. And when we first developed that, we really wanted it to go out, to our service plazas or different like social events, and have people, actually, have that experience of being in their shoes, when they're setting out a work zone, so that they know that this is what this is like. This is, if you're not paying attention or you're speeding through a work zone, this is how close they are to you. Just a second
Right.
matters. And so I think, really, having that perspective and appreciation for what these people do on a daily basis is really important to getting people to understand and slow down and pay attention and just have that appreciation for what they do.
Justina, what other elements would you like to share with us about the programs that you've been involved in? Anything else that you'd like to share or a final message that you'd like to leave people with?
I think, really any of the things that we've done, whether it be, the subcommittee on work zone safety, this new driver program, our durable pavement markings, um, you know, really any of the things that either we're leading in or working on. I just think it's really important that, we all continue to raise the bar, to be better and innovate. We all, should have that, instill that culture of innovation within our agencies, to keep doing better. And whether it's, and through outreach, education, it's, spot treatments or programmatic changes. I think all of those things together, we can continue to drive crashes down. And I think we need to really continue all of our peer exchanges and just share our knowledge, on what we can do better. So we're not recreating the wheel. And that, as a nation, we can all get better together.
That's a great sentiment, and it reminds me of Turnpike CEO Mark Compton when he was president of IBTTA in 2020. One of his sort of signature activities was establishing an engineering and construction task force, which was really aimed at bringing together people engaged in similar jobs at neighboring agencies, sort of a peer-to-peer exchange. And it sounds like that's what you're doing with the new driver safety awareness program.
Yep, absolutely. And I mean, we will be happy to share, anything that we've done with it, either now or once it is completed, as well as any of our other, initiatives that we're working on. I know I've met with various agencies on our durable pavement marking program. We've been meeting with agencies on our work zone speed safety camera program. We would love to see these different programs and initiatives taken to other states and other agencies, so they can improve their safety as well.
Justina, thanks so much for being with us today. It's really been a pleasure. And to all our viewers, thank you for joining us. Thanks for the role that you play in Global Road Safety Week. And let's be safe together.